Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Why Do I Do It podcast, the podcast where we talk to professional performers about their worst, weirdest, and most embarrassing gigs. This week we have amazing Plymouth-based comedian Suzy Bennett. Suzy Bennett won Jimmy Carr's Comedy Idol competition and ultimately supported him on tour. She's got a wealth of experience in performing. We discuss her former years as a Butlins Redcoat. We talk about her nearly beheading a beloved children's character and how safe you really are on the ride at Madame Tussauds. Now we're going to jump straight into this episode, but before we do, I just want to say I hope you're enjoying these. If you are, just click the subscribe button. It's a really little thing you could do that would mean the absolute world to me. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it. This is Suzy Bennett. Hello, Suzy.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning to you. How are you?
Barely awake, but I've brushed my hair for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have scheduled this one a bit early, haven't we? On a Sunday as well. So,
well, I there's a whole world of Sunday morning programs I never knew existed this morning. So thank you for introducing me. I never knew Martin Kemp was on telly on a Sunday morning, and that certainly helped.
Good. If Martin Kemp can help you, then that's good.
Oh, he can help me anytime he likes.
So just quickly, first of all, for people that might not know you, can you just give a brief history of your comedy career to date?
Well, this is going to show my age now. I used to be a redcoat at Butlins, and then I was an entertainer in the holiday industry, and I used to just like talking on the mic, and people would laugh, and so I kind of always knew I wanted to do comedy in some kind of way, and then I ended up living in London in 2003, and then I joined a stand-up evening class. Because this was before social media and I didn't know how to meet comedians and how to start. I had no clue of how to do it. So I went to an evening class, and it started off as about 25 people in the class. And then as the weeks went on, people would drop out, and it ended up being about 5 of us. And one of the guys saw in the paper, Jimmy Carr was doing an audition for Jimmy Carr's Comedy Idol for his DVD. And he said, "Oh, will you come along with me? We've got to do 5 minutes. It's like an X Factor thing." And I said no, because I said, I haven't got 5 minutes of material. And I was like, oh, no. But he was like, please. So I went along with him for moral support. And obviously I was going to do it as well. And it was a day-long thing where people were coming in and going out, and they were asking certain people to stay behind and everything. And he was seen really early in the day, didn't get through. So he buggered off. And I was there for the rest of the day. And I had to wait for so long. By the time I got in there, I just lost all my nerves, and I was just over it, and I just was being normal, and just made jokes about the fact that I've been waiting around and stuff, and I'd missed Heartbeat because it was a Sunday night. And Jimmy Carr said he thought I was naturally funny, and because I went into my little bit of material that I prepared that was a bit rubbish, and he said he found me funnier when I was being natural, and he asked me to stay behind, and then they kind of picked out the final 10, and I was in the final 10. And the final was at the Comedy Store, compared by Jimmy Carr. So my first ever gig was at the Comedy Store compared by Jimmy Carr. So that was brilliant. And it went on the bonus features of his DVD. And when I actually watched it, I hated it. I thought, oh no, look at how I look, how I sound. So I didn't do anything for like a year. And then a year later, I saw in a magazine about the Funny Women Awards, and I ended up winning it. So that kind of officially started in 2006. And since then, I've been drifting in and out of comedy because I was working in the day, and I just do gigs when people ask me. And then I did a few Edinburgh shows. And then I moved down to the West Country. And that's it, really. I'm now here, the Queen of Plymouth.
That's great. So really early on then, you had an amazing opportunity with Jimmy Carr.
Yeah.
And then without trying, you kind of won. And then without trying, you won the Funny Women. So it all just
think that's the thing, though, because when I say about the X Factor, it's usually the people who come second who do better, isn't it, really, sometimes? So maybe that was not the best thing to just sort of go and win things. But yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, it opens a lot of doors, because a lot of people I knew at the time were traipsing around doing open mic nights and hating it, and I was offered gigs because I'd won this award, so that was a bit of a step up the ladder, but maybe it didn't make me try as hard as I should have, because I remember just after winning the Funny Women Award, we had to do 8 minutes of material for my competition 8, as Lynn from Funny Women said, where she said, do your competition 8, And someone phoned me up and said, can you do a 15-minute spot? And I said no, because at the time I panicked and thought, well, I've only got 8 minutes. And I said no, but knowing what I know now, I would have taken every gig that ever came and just winged it, just chat. But I was thinking, oh no, I can't, no, I'm not ready. So, oh dear.
So how did your friend feel, the one that went along with the intention of winning, and then you went along for a laugh?
I think he kind of waited for 5 minutes to be polite, and then he was like looking at his watch. I was like, I don't want to waste your whole Sunday if you want to go. And then I gave him because I had 2 guest tickets, so I gave him the tickets, so he came and watched the final. But yeah, I don't think he was. I don't know. I suppose he was pleased for me. He's no longer doing comedy. He didn't take it up. Okay. I think he just did it as a bit of a hobby. Yeah. So in fact, I'm the only person from that course that's still doing it, I think. Oh, really? I presume. Yeah. So, it was a bizarre time because it was before social media and everything. So, I didn't know anyone out there. I couldn't see where I had to look in Time Out magazine to see where the gigs were and everything. And
so that was 2006, did you say, or 2003?
2005.
2005 was when you did that.
Yeah.
So
I moved to London in 2003 and I was working as a dresser in the theatre. So I was at Jailhouse Rock the Musical helping people on and off with their jeans.
Right.
So that was, I enjoyed that job.
So apart from changing jeans then, in terms of comedy, what were you aiming towards? Like what was sort of the end goal?
I didn't really have one. I like making people laugh, and hence the holiday entertaining thing. And I've gone back into doing that the last few years. In 2017 and 2018, I went to work in Corfu, in Italy, and Zakynthos just to get a bit of sunshine and have a bit of a break, because I think I missed working with a team of people. And that's the thing, sometimes comedy can be a bit lonely if you're on your own and stuff. And I love living down here now because I have a lot of car shares. I mean, you've got a couple of comedians in Plymouth that I car share with a lot, and I feel like there's more of a community of people that I see more often. But in London, it can be a bit sort of, you don't really see people that often, the same people. Yeah. But I went off and worked and did a summer in Corfu just to get a bit of a different life for a bit, because I think I'd got into sitting on the coach all the time, and I just wanted to go and be in one place for a few months and and on my day off I'd go to the beach. I mean, what hardship is that? and it was brilliant because I was an entertainer, so I would like just getting paid to chat to people and make friends really and prat about. And I did aqua aerobics and quizzes, and I went on walks to the vineyard and went tours to the honey farm, and I really, really liked it. But after a few months I got a bit homesick. I don't think I could do that long stint because I did a couple of months here and there. But it just gives me a little bit, get out of yourself a bit and then come back feeling refreshed for the comedy again. So I can't remember what your original question was now. I just talk for ages.
Well, no, you have answered it really. It was sort of what your end goal was. But
oh yeah. Well, I don't really have an end goal, but if someone did ask me on the radio, what would your big thing be? I really want to do panto at Plymouth Theatre Royal. That's my thing at the moment, yeah, because I've been going to see it since I was a child, and I come from a Redcoat background, so I used to be dancing on the stage, and I love a bit of variety, and that would be for me, because my family have always been and watched it. It would be a nice little thing to say, oh, I did that, to be, because it's usually a bloke that's the funny one in a panto, isn't it? Really, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be, because in Plymouth we get like Brian Connolly and stuff, and he's fantastic. But I wouldn't mind being there like fairy godmother or something, just popping in now and again. But I would love to do that. But at the moment, the theatre, don't know what's going on with the theatre. But
no,
maybe one day someone will spot me and say, "Come." I said I was the Queen of Plymouth.
Yeah.
That's kind of
that's your segue in, is it? That's like, are you trying to claim that moniker?
My friend's been calling me that because I was in the local paper like a couple of months ago, and it was the 50 coolest people from Plymouth, and I was in it.
Oh, okay. What number were you?
There wasn't no particular order.
Oh, okay. So number 1.
So I reckon I'm probably number 2 after the pasty man.
After the pasty.
But yeah, I was in that, and then I thought that was really cool, and then I got a job recently as the voice of an app, a tourist app for Plymouth called Plymouth Trails.
Brilliant.
So I've got to be recording it in the next few weeks. So my friend's like, you're the Queen of Plymouth. So if I just got to become semi-celebrity in Plymouth, and then maybe they'll pop me in the panto to shut me up.
Sounds like a good plan. It does. What would be your favourite panto to be in?
Oh, the classic Cinderella, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not very feminist, is it, Cinderella? Now.
No, it's not a good. It's not a woke message, is it?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in Peter Pan. I saw Peter Pan a couple of years ago with Phil Mitchell was in it, and it was not my favorite. It was not my favorite. Right. I like a bit of Dick Whittington. Dick Whittington's all right. Mother Goose. When I was about 8 years old, I was one of the kids that got to go on stage and sing along with Danny LaRue. So that would be full circle, because that would be my first time on that stage.
Yeah.
And then I would, and Aladdin's quite fun because of Widow Twankey and all that. And
yeah, that's
true. Widow Twankey. I think I could be Widow.
The Queen of Plymouth as Widow Twankey. Right, okay, we're just going to pause here so I can tell you a little bit about our sponsors. Now, I am never going to promote anything that I don't truly believe in, and I really believe in this company. The sponsors of this episode is Bricksome Gin. They're a family-run company based in, you guessed it, Bricksome. They had an absolute laugh one day. They tested 11 different recipes of gin before settling on blend number 9, which is in their flagship bottle, Red Sails. Now, the red sails on the gin and on the logo here, it's inspired by the red ochre dyed sails of Bricksome's historic fishing boats. So there's a lovely bit of coastal history there. With these guys, exclusivity really is key. They only make extremely small batches, about 50 bottles per batch. So you've got to get in there fast because this is an exquisite gin. From their seaside unit in Bricksome, they do absolutely everything. They prepare the ingredients, they test it, they bottle it, and they label it, and it's all done by hand. You don't get that very much anymore. They don't just do gin, they do hand sanitizers, they've got gift packs, they've got t-shirts. They do absolutely everything. There really is something for everyone. And even better, because you're a listener of this podcast, they're giving you 10% off their gin. All you've got to do is visit bricksomegin.net and enter discount code YPOD. That's WHYPOD, YPOD, at the checkout and get 10% off. Now, back to the episode. Okay, so that's all very positive, and I like that. It's really nice and positive, but unfortunately, that's not what this is all about. The Germans have a word for it. Right, and it's Schadenfreude. Have you heard of Schadenfreude?
Yeah.
It's laughing at others' misfortune. The Japanese have a saying, which is the misfortune of others tastes like honey, which is quite nice. So that's what this is all about. It's about your worst, weirdest, oddest, rowdiest gigs ever. So have you got a memory? Have you got one that's embedded and mentally scarred you in your mind as the weirdest gig you've ever done?
I've probably blocked a few out, but. Oh, there was one not too long ago, a couple of years ago, and I was booked to do a golfing day. I mean, I just need to stop there, really, did I? It was a golfing day. It was a gentleman's golfing day, and the person who booked me had seen me at a comedy gig and said, "Oh, they're going to love you. They'll love you at this gig," and when they offered me the money, it was really bad money, and I'm a bit rubbish. I'm not very assertive when it comes to these things. And I was like, because I thought, it's a corporate. Oh yeah, it'd be loads of money, and it wasn't that far away from where I live. But the money was a bit rubbish, and I was like, I was like, and I kind of tried to wangle, a bit more, and then they said they'll throw in a spa day, right? It was close to Mother's Day, and I was like, I could take Mum to a spa day. That'd be cool, because it was near this so-called spa centre. So I took Mum for the day, and the spa day turned out to be a leisure centre swimming pool, which had a jacuzzi and a steam room, but both were broken. So we went in this leisure centre swimming pool. That was our spa day. And then I went off to do this gig, and I walked in, and it was all sit-down dinners. And they said, you can join a table, you and your mum. And I'm like, oh, great, get a free dinner. And as soon as I looked at the stage, I knew that I was doomed, because it was all golfing awards. And I'd been told they'd been out golfing since 9 a.m. They were having their lunch and a few pints. And I thought they're not interested. They just want to go home or just carry on drinking. And I was sat on this table. I was getting on well with the people I was on the table with. And then the compere/host person, because there was no other entertainment, and they hadn't done the awards yet. That was what they were all there for.
Right.
And he went on stage and he said the fateful words, "We've got a female comedian coming on. Apparently she's quite good." And I just wanted the ground to swallow up, and I thought, I just want to drop dead now so I can get out of it. And when he said that, I looked around at the room and they were all just kind of looking at each other like, what? And they did not know they were getting a comedian. And he felt he had to apologise for me before I'd even got up there. But, we got a female comedian. Oh, apparently she's quite good. And I just thought, well, thanks for that, because you've literally just thrown me to the lions. And I don't know, some people might not understand why that's not great. But it's like, why do you have to mention that I'm female? It's like you're kind of getting them ready just in case they're like, oh my gosh, she's female. And it's a bit like apologising. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, we've got a woman coming on. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, apparently she's quite good. And I was just like, oh no, this is horrific. And I had to do about 20 minutes. And it was just really shoddy because he hadn't sort of built the room up or anything. He just said, oh, we've got a female comedian coming on. I don't know. And all the blokes like look at each other like, what the hell? And then I said, I looked at my mum and I said, Mum, can you just call a taxi for in about 30 minutes time and just wait out I got her to wait in the reception area.
Oh, she didn't watch it?
She did not want to watch. No, she went out and she went out into the reception, called the taxi, so I knew it'd be waiting. And I just went on stage and talked at these people for 20 minutes and just was inside my head. I was like, it's like I'd beamed out of my body and I was looking down at myself. And there was two people that were actually looking at me and engaging with me, and they were the two sort of young guys. But the rest of them were all sitting with their arms folded, like, what is this? What is happening? And, it was horrific. And I just kind of I went, oh, thank you very much, and handed the mic back and just walked off, kept walking through the double doors into the taxi. And all the way home, I was like, ugh. And the first thing I did, I went on Facebook and I put, I've just done a golfing gentleman's day. And then I got this flurry of comments from comedians saying, oh my God, they're the worst, and giving me their bad experiences. And I remember Tony Cowards saying something about his worst gigs. They were all throwing money at him to get off. They were throwing coins at him because he said, I haven't done my time yet and I won't get paid if I don't do my time. So they're all throwing money at him. And Jane Hill said something about it. She said, oh, you didn't even need, golfing the worst, don't worry about it. And all the way home I felt like that feeling where you want to rip your skin off and burn it in a bin. Yeah. And then I remembered Sarah Millican's got this thing called the 11 o'clock rule, where she says if you have a bad gig, you're only allowed to feel bad about it until 11 a.m. the next morning. Then you have to wipe it out and start again, fresh slate. And same if you have a really good gig, you're only allowed to feel good about it till 11 a.m. because then you wipe the slate clean and the next gig is a fresh one. So I was remembering that. And actually, I think I'd come a long way mentally because I didn't feel that bad because I knew it wasn't my fault. Do you know what I mean? I knew that it was all set up wrong and I was doomed to fail. And I think Michael McIntyre could have got up and they would have not been interested. Do you know what I mean? And it was one of the, I'm not an arrogant person in any way at all, but I knew that was never going to work. And the woman who booked me for it, I text her saying, well, I got away with it. And I never heard from them again.
But
and I go, oh dear. But so I think it's Karen Bailey says as well, like if you have a bad gig, spend the money on something nice for yourself. So I can't remember what I bought, probably cake. But
another nice swim at a leisure centre.
That was something that I have done a gentleman's thing since, and it was an evening gig. And lovely Morgan Rees, I was meant to go on opening, and I made him swap with me because I was too scared to go on first. And so I was like, can we swap, please? And in my defense, the money was different and I gave him the difference. So I am a nice person. I was like, you have them. Yeah. And then I went on in the middle. And by the time I'd gone on in the middle, I'd kind of got the measure of them. And I just went on and sort of didn't let them interrupt me, or, they were very heckling and I just kind of insulted them and we just went, and it was all right. But I think I'd learned from the other one, just don't pause to give them any.
So were you getting heckles at the golf one then, were you? Is that
no, just indifference, which is worse. Just sitting there folding their arms, turning their seats sideways and just looking at each other with disbelief, like, well, when's the stripper coming on or something, but it's annoying when that happens because these people will be like, oh, she's rubbish, and they'll decide all female comedians are rubbish if they've never seen one before just because of one person doing badly. But it was never going to work.
No, not at all. So so at the next one with Morgan Rees, then that gig,
Oh yeah,
they were heckling. Did you say?
yeah. They were just drunk. It was a gentleman's day, and they were all drinking, and they were all very territorial. It's their golf club, you know, and you're coming in sort of to entertain them, and they were just shouting stuff out, and if you said anything, they'd all go hey and point at a bloke that it related to, and just not listen to you because they're all like, oh, he's done that, and giving each other nicknames. And I remember they were calling this. They said something mildly racist about this guy. They were calling him, oh God, because this guy was from South Africa, but he was a white guy, and they were calling him a really bad racist, and we were like, what the hell? They're like, oh, he's from South Africa, and they thought that was hilarious, and we were all going, oh God. Yeah. And I remember this now because Richard James was there. Richard James, Morgan Rees. I'm singing like a canary now, but we were in the back room, and there was a whiteboard and a marker, so we were all sitting there going, oh God, they're all knobheads. And we decided to do like a football manager thing, and I was filming Morgan and Richard, and they'd drawn like a pre-match sort of pep talk thing, and they were like writing down, going, right, we'll go straight in with the knobheads at the back, and they were drawing like a little, what do they call it when they
I'm not a football fan. I know what you mean, but I don't know what the names are. I'm not a football
I don't know,
at all.
but you can imagine it. They were just they did circles and said, these are the knobheads. We'll go straight in at the knobheads, and then we'll infiltrate these guys with a bit of banter. And they did all that, and then they'd written knobheads at the back. And then the chief golf club man came in to sort of say, oh yeah, thanks for coming guys, have a good show. And we all were like, thanks very much. And then when he left, we all went, oh my God, because we remembered that the whiteboard was there with knobheads, knobhead central, I think he'd written. So we all had a good laugh in the end. Remember Dan Thomas was on last, but by that point they were just all like, you know.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
But I just went straight in and just was like, chat. Don't pause to give them time to shout anything. And I remember at one point I said about they're all here on their gentleman's evening, but their women are all at home on Tinder sort of thing. So I kind of got him to insult them before they had a chance to shout anything random at me.
So both of those stories have surrounded golf clubs and like gentlemen's days and things like that. Is that a running theme, or is it?
Yeah,
or is it...
I don't get. Do you play golf?
No, I like golf, but I like pitch and putt more.
Just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sure there's some nice golf players out there, but I remember. Do you remember the film Falling Down with Michael Douglas?
Yeah. Where
he rampages through. He's going through the golf. What's it called? Pitch golf
course.
Yeah. See, this is, oh my God.
With his golf racket.
He's going through the golf course. He's got his rifles and he's on his rampage. And these two posh old men with their little tartan trousers and their little bubbly hat. Get off this course. And he pits, what do they call it? Put the ball, whatever. Anyway, aim the ball at Michael Douglas's head, and then he gets his rifle out, and this guy's having an heart attack. And he shoots the little buggy, and the buggy's going down there, and he goes, and now you're going to die wearing that stupid hat. That's and I just think of that moment. I'm like, yeah, you're wearing a stupid hat, mate. You're wearing stupid trousers. And I don't get golf. I'm sorry. I find it really... I mean, Donald Trump plays golf. That's all Ronnie Corbett used to play golf, and he was all right. But Donald Trump, that's...
Only takes a couple bad apples to spoil the bunch, doesn't it?
Well, exactly, yeah. I'm from my days as a holiday entertainer. What's wrong with a game of French balls on the lawn? That's a nice game.
Yeah, true. Right, okay, we're just going to pause here so I can tell you a little bit about our sponsors. Now, I am never going to promote anything that I don't truly believe in, and I really believe in this company. The sponsors of this episode is Bricksome Gin. They're a family-run company based in, you guessed it, Bricksome. They had an absolute laugh one day. They tested 11 different recipes of gin before settling on blend number 9, which is in their flagship bottle, Red Sails. Now, the red sails on the gin and on the logo here, it's inspired by the red ochre dyed sails of Bricksome's historic fishing boats. So there's a lovely bit of coastal history there. With these guys, exclusivity really is key. You know, they only make extremely small batches, about 50 bottles per batch. So you've got to get in there fast because this is an exquisite gin. From their seaside unit in Bricksome, they do absolutely everything. You know, they prepare the ingredients, they test it, they bottle it, and they label it, and it's all done by hand. You don't get that very much anymore. They don't just do gin, they do hand sanitizers, they've got gift packs, they've got t-shirts. You know, they do absolutely everything. There really is something for everyone. And even better, because you're a listener of this podcast, they're giving you 10% off their gin. All you've got to do is visit bricksomegin.net and enter discount code YPOD. That's WHYPOD, YPOD, at the checkout and get 10% off. Now, back to the episode. So I am surprised, actually, as a holiday entertainer and a Redcoat, that a former Redcoat, that your stories didn't surround there, because I imagine that sort of environment is rife with horrible times, like a lot of lovely times as well, I'm sure, but there must have been a couple of horrible ones.
I was 22, and it was my first time properly away from home, and I was living in a chalet with 2 girls, and the staff accommodation was right all on top of each other, literally, and there was a lot of drinking, a lot of parties, and then we'd have to get up early in the morning to stand by the restaurant doors to welcome the guests in and be like, morning, hello little Johnny, and be all like, yeah, smiley, but mostly we were drunk and hungover. And I remember putting the same mascara on for like 3 days in a row, because we'd get up and go just like try and make ourselves look awake. And we used to sometimes have to dress up as Noddy and his little friends and put the big paper mache heads, you know, the skin costumes, the big characters. And one time I was driving the Noddy car, and now I don't drive, and I am a bit of a liability anyway. And it was an electric car, and they'd spent a lot of money on the proper Noddy paintwork, the lovely yellow shiny. It was a few grand worth. And my mate was Noddy, and I was driving the car, and we were both a bit worse for wear. And he hadn't put the chin strap round from the big paper mache head, because you're supposed to put the chin strap round so it's sturdy. And I'm driving him through to Toyland, because all the kids are waiting there for him in Toyland. And we can't drive in, beep, beep, Noddy's arrived, yay! And they're all like, woo! And we're like, yay, waving. Anyway, we got into Toyland. I was driving a bit too fast, broke a bit sharp. Noddy sort of lurched forward, and the head started to come up.
No.
And I was like, and he kind of lurched forward, the head gone like that, and then he goes and sits back, and the head lands, and it's like you can see all the parents at the back go, oh. So that was a near miss. I know it's a funnier story if Noddy's head flew off, but that was a near miss. And then when we got back, we had to park it and plug it in, electric car, and I scraped it along the wall, and there was a big long scratch, and we just said, let's just leg it. And we never spoke of it again. And then the next day there was a big management meeting about the Noddy car, and nobody fessed up, and we just kept this secret for years. And then it must have been about 10 years ago, I was doing a gig, and one of the girls from Butlins was there at the gig, one of the girls that was the management, and I saw her in the audience, and I confessed on stage about the Noddy car, and she shouted, oh my god.
Did she take it well? Did she take it well?
She laughed about it. It was a long time
that's
ago
good.
now.
That's good.
But there was another Noddy incident involving the same person. We were very close, me and Steve. And he was Noddy. And the photographers used to go around the park just taking random photos. And then they would put them up in the shop the next day. And they'd always take photos of us if they saw us. And we were in Toyland sitting on the bench. And we saw the photographer. So I put my arm around Noddy. Noddy put his arm around me. And I put my leg over him and kind of went in a kind of carry on Barbara Windsor kind of way.
Yeah.
And we got pulled into the office the next day, and I was shown the photo, and I was like, this is not appropriate for the brand. And but I was told Enid Blyton would turn in her grave if she saw that.
It's a completely another world, isn't it? Because that's like the weirdest disciplinary you could ever get.
Oh, I had one for Madame Tussauds. I had a disciplinary.
What working there? Oh, well, you must have been. They don't just give customers a disciplinary, do they? So what did you do there?
Oh, well, have you been to Madame Tussauds London?
I have. I'm guessing it was around was it Ross Martin Kemp? I'm guessing it was around the Martin Kemp area.
No. If we had Martin Kemp, trust me, I would have got a written warning straight away. So in Madame Tussauds there's a ride, and it's London cabs that take you around the history of London. So you have to step on it while it's moving. It's like 0.05 miles an hour, and there's a bar and an arrow. You step on it. It's just like a very slow travelator. It's really easy to get on. And but we'd have members of staff at the front and the back to help people on and off and direct them so they don't step in front of it and stuff. And now and again you'd get a shift as ride control monitor, and we had to do a big course about it, all health and safety. And I was ride control monitor, and it means you're sitting in a little room away from everyone watching the screens. So you're like the CCTV monitor watching the ride, just to make sure, because sometimes the like group of teenagers, they'd kind of stand up and mess around and stuff, and you'd have to stop the ride and radio someone to go in and tell them off, just to help you safety.
I went the other way with it. I thought you were like Madame Tussauds Ofsted inspector checking on the staff. Right, so they're checking on the customers that are behaving.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
And like sometimes people might get off because they have to get off and walk on a moving travelator. So sometimes they get a bit, oh, and then we'd have to sit. We're supposed to be sitting and watching the whole time, and then someone comes and relieves you for a break, and you swap over. And we used to sit and fall asleep. We'd be texting, reading, and messing about. I know people who did other stuff, and because no one was in there with us. And my friend Kevin, he was relieving me for my break, and I had the CD on, had my feet up. He was relieving me, so I got out the chair and I was dancing about, right? And then suddenly you see me go, oh shit, and head towards the button and the radio. And what had happened is a lady got off the ride, fell over, and they had to stop the ride, but I wasn't looking at the screens, I was dancing about. And and then I was like, but they had to watch the incident back, and little did we know, but while we were watching the ride, people were watching us because there was CCTV inside the ride control. So I got called into the office, and I had to watch footage of myself dancing about and then going, oh shit. And then so we both got in trouble because neither of us were in the hot seat at the time, like watching the ride. And have you ever watched yourself dancing and you don't think anyone's watching? Because
in a corporate scenario as well.
And the manager said, what have you got to say? And I went, it's a fair cop, isn't it? But the lady didn't hurt herself, by the way. She was just being silly. But
I'm going to say, the way you explained it, I was picturing the cars just going over her lifeless body as you're dancing. But it wasn't quite as dark as that. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So the I've done several of these, and these are all very unique stories. The golf club gigs have popped up before, as do Christmas gigs.
Oh.
Yeah. But I must say, Madame Tussauds and nearly beheading Noddy is two stories that haven't popped up yet. But it is the time where, for no reason at all, I mark these stories and give you a combined score. It means absolutely nothing. So that they're going to be marked on 3 counts. The first one is the story's cringeworthiness. The second one is the mental scars. And the third one is how it's changed you as a person. So for cringeworthiness, I think all of them, factoring in your spa day turning into a leisure centre swim around what I can only assume is an inflatable birthday party at the same time, I'm going to have to give that I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Mental scars. I'm going to factor in the children's mental scars around the Noddy incident as well, because I think that could be quite high up. So I'm giving that a 4 out of 5. And how it's changed you as a person, I don't feel like I am educated enough to have decided this. Do you feel any of those have changed you as a person, or have you followed Millikan's Law pretty tightly, and after 11 a.m. they're gone?
I feel like I am more like that now. Back in the early days, I used to really worry about everything, and I used to worry about what people thought of me. And one thing actually that I learned was I did a gig where there was a big load of blokes in the audience, and for me that used to frighten me a bit, because I'd talk about female stuff, because I mean the first bit of material I wrote was for the Funny Women Awards, so it was more female orientated, and I would apologize for myself if I was about to talk about something female. I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to talk about this. Right. And then somebody said to me, why did you apologize for that? If it's funny, it's funny, and people will find it funny, because people talk about their experiences, men talk about their experiences, women do. It's your thing. So if it's funny, people are going to laugh, whether they're male or female. And he said, don't apologize for yourself. And I did take that on board. And now I don't apologize, and I'm more confident in my material. And I think that makes people, because if someone's apprehensive about saying something, the audience are going to be that way. So I think I took that on board. And also the golf club thing, I know it wasn't my fault, and it didn't reflect my ability or anything. It was just a perfect storm of wrongness, and it wouldn't have gone well for anybody. And hearing other people's stories makes you realize everyone's had that situation, and it's not your fault, and you could go into another room and just completely, like I did WI gig, and it was the complete opposite of what happened at the golf gig.
Yeah.
You know, and I've done sort of male gigs since, and it's gone well. So it's not my fault, and I don't need to apologise. And I suppose that's made me have a thicker skin. I mean, doing the Edinburgh Festival makes you have a thicker skin, because you do the same show every night and you can have a completely different reaction. So it makes you realise that sometimes it's not you saying the same thing. It's not you. It's just that sometimes the audience are not with you. And that's that.
Okay, good. Well, and I mean, to be fair, if there's one thing that's going to aid you in being crowned the Queen of Plymouth, you're going to need a thick skin to deal with all the tabloid press. So I'm going to go with a 1 out of 5 for how it's changed you, and I think that's a really good thing, because I feel like
we're always learning and growing.
Yeah,
and growing.
Exactly. I think that's a really good thing. So it gives you a combined total of 8 out of 15. There we go. So no one knows what it means. No one. I don't know if it's better to get higher or lower on the scale. I am going to get a Top Gear style board type thing here, and I can just put your mark on it. But yeah, until there we go. 8 out of 15. I've
got something to aspire to now. To continue to learn and grow.
And have some horrible gigs and come back and increase the score or lower the score, however it goes. We're not sure. But thank you for coming on and doing it, Suzy. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you for getting me up on a Sunday morning to see Martin Kemp and Kelly.
Yeah.
I'm literally no bra, pajama bottoms on.
I'm exactly the same. It's fine. I've just put on a nice top.
Hairdresser's not open yet, so.
Well, I'll let you get back to bed anyway. But
thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye.
You take care.